Thank you for watching my video. I really appreciate it. Please consider subscribing.
Hey, you're Darren Carter.
You're damn right I am. All right, we'll see you soon. Who are you?
Everybody listen to Darren Carter. We all know that he's a party starter. So if you want to listen to a podcast for free, listen to our Pocket Party. Pocket Party.
It's about that time. Let's do it.
Yo, dude, I'm trying to start my song here. Yo, spit it out. Yo. I got freckles everywhere, even in my underwear.
Oh, yeah, we're back,
I use
baby.
Nair, so there's no hair. Bare like a pear, not hairy like a kiwi. Kiwis are hairy, and that gets kind of scary.
Come on, baby girl, I want to see what you got. You
Pocket
like my
Party
freckles? Let's break your neck to
Podcast.
touch. Let's do it on the beat.
All up in your ear holes. Here we go. I love this part. Song's called Freckles. Got them freckles, girl, all over my body. I got them freckles, girl, all over my body.
When I was a kid, my hair was black. But then something happened, something went whack. This big bully pushed me in my back. I stumbled around into the cabbage patch.
Lindsay Lohan.
That's hilarious. That part right there, I wrote those lyrics when I was 15 years old. When I was a kid, my hair was black, but then something happened, something went whack. Some big bully pushed me in my back. I stumbled around into a cabbage, whatever. I did the cabbage patch. The way I originally recorded it was a little bit different. Here, one more time, listen to this. Right here.
I got them freckles.
Here it comes. Ready? Right here. Wait, oh, that's the hook. I don't even know my own song.
I got them freckles, girl, all over my body.
When I was a kid, my hair was black. But then something happened, something went whack. This big bully pushed me in my back. I stumbled around into the cabbage patch.
So when I originally wrote it, I went, when I was a kid, my hair was black, but then something happened, something went whack. Some mother effer pushed me in the back and made me fall into a strawberry patch. Now the corn had ears, hurt I was raw. The potatoes had eyes and dug what they saw. The yams like my jam said it was sweet. And libby, 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 they like the steady beat. Everybody say ho, 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 ho. Green Giant. As you can tell, that was like an 80s rap. But it was funny because the one part where I go, when I was a kid, my hair was black, something happened, something went whack. Some mother, and I used to say, but I didn't want my mom to know that I was cursing in my rap notebook. So I put, some mother, ha, pushed me in my back. Originally I said, I fell into a carrot patch, but then and then that Carrot Top, was famous, and I was like, I can't be saying carrot patch. So I changed it to strawberry patch. Anyways, guys, what's up? We're back together again on the podcast. Just the two of us, or if there's a lot of people listening in the car, all of us, man, we up in them ear holes on you. If you got your earbuds in, yes, Pocket Party Podcast. I love it. I love that you guys are a part of this together. I'm looking at like the first 30 to 50 episodes as it's like a special club. Only a few know about us, and we're here together until this thing blows up. And every week it's getting a little bit more and a little bit more, and the people are subscribing and going back to them earlier episodes. And I love it, man. I'm loving every aspect about this. I am over the moon. I'm telling you, man, if you listen to the first episode, I literally had a cell phone and I was just passing the phone back and forth, and I'm like, it was cool. And I was like, I'm doing it. I'm going live. I'm out there with my buddy Brian Swinehart. It was called Gratitude List. And then I got a little bit better. Let's try going through the app, doing a phone call through the app. And, the sound could have been better. The content was great. I love Gilbert Esquivel. He's awesome with the stories. And then, boom, I hit that stride. It got better and better and better. And, I figured out how to do the technical end. And John Reap episode, incredible. Loved it. We're face-to-face recorders. He showed me how to use the microphone a little bit better, how to boost the quality. Fraser Smith, LA radio legend. That was awesome. I don't know how you're listening to this, but if you want to do me a huge favor, go to iTunes, give it some reviews and some stars. Give it 5 stars and a little review. Even if you write, love the podcast, it's great. I mean, these guys that get on those charts, they have like 200 reviews and above. I mean, then you look at someone who's at the very top, which I get. They've had the podcast for 5 years, long time, blah blah blah. They're gonna have thousands. All I need is like, you guys just to write something, and maybe if it's from the heart, that's even better. I don't want no BS. But I want to thank my sponsor, the Thai Room in Burbank. Tell me what the Darren Carter Friends Special. They're great. Right from the get-go, they sponsored me. They're awesome. You tell me what the Darren Carter Friends Special, they will hook you up. I want to do a shout out to the big time podcast supporters. I got D_Ghostwriter. I got at Rig RM, probably Ramirez. It's RIGRMZ out of Texas. I got Jim Bryan Music. What up at Jim Bryan Music? Christine Blackburn. I did her podcast called Storyworthy. She's awesome. Mark Hammett. What up, Mark? I want to do a shout out to the one and only Mr. Mike Bagak. This guy is awesome. He likes to post on Instagram. He actually is one of the 2 people so far that have done right away. 2 people put I didn't even ask at that point. I forgot to ask. He did a review on iTunes. It was awesome. I'm gonna call a friend in a little bit, Sam Tripoli, or as my little boy calls him, Sam Tripoli, because my son sometimes only reads things and doesn't know how it's pronounced. You know how kids are. Sam Tripoli. I'm gonna call Sam. Sam is awesome. Okay, big shout out to Zimmer Andronigi and Lee Meyerhofer, always there with the reviews, man. This guy's awesome, sharing those YouTube links, putting up comments on YouTube. I couldn't ask for anything more. Reggie Cepeda. Reggie is the man, dude. Reggie is awesome. We went to elementary school together. We reunited. This guy is a positive energy. I love it, man. So good. And he shared the YouTube links and leaves comments on YouTube. I love it. Rami Valencia. Rami, you're the man. Luis Ramirez, the best. I know I'm leaving some people out. We'll get you guys next time. What do you say I call Sam Tripoli right here, right now? Let's see what's happening. I'm going to go live. I know I should probably like learn how to do it a different way, but screw it, man. Let's just do it. Let's just call Sam. Okay. Let's just try it. I'm putting that there. I'm going live with Bluetooth. I hope that works. I might have screwed up. Sam, my man, what's up? I think I did this right. I don't know if I did or not. We're trying right now.
Battery high. Connected to.
Let's see if it works. Yes, I think it's going to work.
G955U and iPod Touch.
Oh, gosh. Sam, are you there? Okay. Yeah, this is... Oh, my gosh. Okay. I don't know why it's not working. Hello. Okay, I got the mic up to the phone, but I'm trying to get you through the... Okay, now it's going to work.
To
yes.
iPod Touch.
Off your phone.
Oh, this is good.
An app or
No,
something.
I got it right now. Okay, can you speak up just a little bit?
I can.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Oh, good. Okay, this is perfect, dude. You're the man. I figured this out. I'm running...
Okay.
I'm holding the microphone right up to my Bose Bluetooth speaker.
Oh, perfect. Shout out Bose.
Dude, can I just say thank you to Sam Tripoli? Sam, you've been in the game for a long time, dude. Thanks for giving me a little bit of your time. But most of all, the inspiration you give me when we're not doing this podcast, when we're not doing stuff online. I go to you for advice and inspiration, man. How many podcast episodes do you think you've put out there in the world?
I just celebrated 100 on my Timpo hat. I probably did, we're probably almost up to 400 on Punch Drunk. Then you could probably add another about 200 to 300, maybe on the Naughty Show. So, yeah.
Dude,
we're
man.
Close to 1,000.
That's incredible. And not even counting your appearances on all these other big-time podcasts that you've done. That's incredible.
Yeah, I've done a lot. I've been on a lot of podcasts. A lot of people go, hey, you podcast too much, dude. You put out, it's too much. It's too much. I go, well, if I wasn't going to do that, I'd just be talking to myself. So I do it anyways.
That's awesome. Dude, thank you for having me on the Armenian fundraisers every show, man. Every time you do it, you guys, man, that's incredible. Thank you you got a good heart. You call it your karma shows, right?
Yeah, they're my good karma shows for all the shady, weird shit I get into.
I love it, man. Dude, that was cool. We were at the Comedy Store the other night, and we got pictures of Bruce Buffer.
Yeah, dude, Bruce Buffer's a G, dude. People don't realize what kind of amazing energy he brings to the octagon. It's the pre-fight show that you really don't get to see until you're unless you're there live. We got some hair braiding in the parking lot. I like it.
Hey, where are you?
Braiding in the parking lot at the Sycamore Tavern with this car. Excuse me, I know this is a Christian podcast. With this burnt out caddy. Someone just left a burnout caddy at this comedy in this parking lot. So weird.
And people are braiding their hair in the parking lot?
Yeah, these three cholas.
Dude,
I love cholas.
Dude, I live in, I'm more of like a valley guy. I like Burbank. The other night I was leaving the Comedy Store and I was going to get a taco on Santa Monica Boulevard, and I pulled into the parking lot of this shady ass 7-Eleven taco stand area. And I just saw too many freaks, and I got the heck out of there and went straight back to the valley.
I like the weirdness, dude. I go into the weirdness. That's what I like.
You do, man. Gosh.
I like it on the weird side. So I like to go out there. Like when I play San Francisco at night, I want the Tenderloin where all the weirdos are.
Yeah.
It's so expensive. How can you be like a street hooker in San Francisco?
I know.
It's so expensive.
What do you think the street hookers are charging these days?
I don't know. I think to be homeless, you got to make $100K.
Damn. Oh, I know. I see what you're saying. San Francisco. Yeah, to be a hooker in San Francisco on the street, it's like, are you kidding me? It's like,
yeah.
They should just go over go across the bridge and go turn tricks in Concord or something, or Pleasanton.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Keep going to Stockton. Actually, they do go to Stockton.
Dude, $70 like a day to park. It's crazy.
Dude, one time I was in Boston, all right, and we were near a comedy club. It might have been Nick's, and I think there's an area there called the War Zone or Combat City or something like that. It's really it's very shady. And I was 23, and I don't even know if this is street smarts or not, but I did not want to walk on the sidewalk, so I ended up at one scary ass part just walking in the middle of the street on the double yellow line because I figured it'd be safer than being in those dark alleys.
Fight or flight, dude. Fight or flight.
I know. Dude, do you have any advice for people if they end up being in a shady area and they want to get the heck out of there? What do they got to do?
Yeah, out crazy everybody.
Okay.
First of all, don't stop for stop signs. Keep rolling in. And if you're in a situation where outside, just be the craziest one fucking there. Just start screaming about Napoleon, and aliens.
But aren't you going to draw attention to yourself, and then they're going to be like, look at this crazy motherfucker?
Well, I'm just saying if you're in a situation where they're going nuts on you.
Oh, yeah, where it's really nuts. Yeah.
What the fuck's up, home? And you're you just got to go, motherfucker, Napoleon Dynamite, and just be weird. And be like, aliens, and just start being crazier than they are.
Dude, I did a TV taping in Atlanta, okay, and we had to go through this shady-ass area to get back to the hotel, and I was walking with, I want to say it was G-Thang, and G was like, dude, whenever you got to walk in places like this, he goes, keep one hand in your pocket, under your shirt, that way they think you may pull out a weapon, and they won't fuck with you.
Yeah, dude, well, you're a white guy. They're not going to fuck with you, don't you know? If a white guy gets killed, cops come.
Oh, shit. It's weird too because I'm looking like a different white guy these days than I used to look. Before, I think I looked more red hair nerd, whatever. Not that I don't look like a nerd now, but I don't have that red hair, Richie Cunningham look anymore.
You look like the guy who owns Amazon's cousin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's funny depending on who sees me. Some people are like, yeah, you look like Jeff Ross, or you look like Bruce Willis. I'm like, I like the Bruce Willis reference. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, shave heads in. Everybody can thank Michael Jordan for that.
I know.
He literally made being bald cool. Do you know what they found? I think, did you tell me this? That they found out that muscle magazines sell more ads when the guy is bald than when the guy has hair.
Wow. That's interesting. Dude,
who knows what that's about?
I know. I'm curious to see what my podcast listeners are. If they're bald or have hair, who knows? What if I only have bald fans? That'd be weird.
That's cool.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Then you get all the bald sponsorships, like head shavers.
That's true.
Sun lotion, so your head doesn't fry.
That's right. You know what?
Hats,
You've got such a business mind.
toupees,
You got,
dude.
dude, you got a bit.
Nobody's getting the toupees.
I see. What do you? Man, I see on the. You never know where your career is going to lead to. Sam, you're good at this, man. You're the one that whenever I get down, I'm like, this guy knows how to do it. You're like, no, put your stuff on YouTube, pimp out your YouTube channel, make your thumbnails clickable, and I did that, and it's actually working, man. Most people don't listen to you, but or not you, but when people get advice, they're like, yeah, I should do that. I'm like, no, I'm gonna do it, man. I'm gonna listen to Sam, and it's working, dude. I'm getting more views, more subscribers.
I appreciate the kind words, and I'm glad you're doing it. Not everybody does. There are people who have done it, like Theo Vaughn, dude. I'm like, start a YouTube page, and I'm not saying he's obviously super funny,
Yeah.
but he's been able to find a way to corral that talent into something that is now he's starting to sell out theaters, dude. If you just put out something every couple days on YouTube, you'll train people want to see you train people to have you in their life.
That's
and
true.
And so you figure out who is your audience, what is your demographic, and you find out how to mine those people, and that's what starts going really well.
On today's episode, I got a guy who was great, man. He has this idea. His name is Gilbert Esquivel. He does Facebook Live 6 nights a week. I don't know if you know. Do you know Gilbert Esquivel?
No, I don't. But hey, dude, that's really smart.
Dude,
I don't trust Facebook to be around that
I know.
much
I don't either.
long.
I don't either. But the thing is, what's good about him is like his audience, they know how to find it. And dude, I'm telling you right now, this guy gets between 50 and 60,000 views every night when he does this thing.
From Gary Cannon.
Oh man,
You just
Gary.
gotta train people.
Yeah.
And the more you put out, the more they like it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I'm telling you, man, everybody hates YouTube stars, but they don't think, hey, man, these guys are talentless, freckless knuckleheads.
Yeah.
If they're doing that, why can't I do it?
I know.
If I have talent, I just have to work it.
Do you on this we did a podcast and we did a video, Gilbert and I, and he has that show. It's a half-hour show. I love it. It's called Lunchbox, and you have lunch and you talk about boxing and UFC. It's great. I like that concept, and we did it. And I didn't realize how much I knew about boxing until I started talking with him. And you realize it's not like I had to fill a half hour by myself. But what were you telling me last night at the comedy store in the parking lot about boxing, how it's coming up now, and UFC and?
Well, what happened was that the UFC got really hot. It was the new cute girl on the block, and everybody flocked to UFC, and everybody forgot about boxing because, Floyd Mayweather, Don King had left a really bad taste in everybody's mouth. So people started leaving boxing and started running to UFC because it was wild, wild west. It was crazy. And people loved the personalities. And the fights were happening. We were starting to see the fights. They were making fights. We wanted to see the fights, okay?
Yeah.
So then boxing, which started to face this national growing sentiment of it was going to eventually disappear, that nobody was caring, not disappear, but nobody cared about it. Interest was waning. So they just started. So this thing happened called, I felt like a Premier Boxing Championship. It was their attempt.
Yeah.
It was their attempt at doing the UFC, but with boxing, where it was like all these names under one group. And I don't know if it's still going, but the guy did a lot of he kind of started making people fight each other, and people got interested. So then public pressure started having Andre Ward fight Kovalev, and we started seeing the redheaded Mexican versus
Canelo Alvarez. Yeah.
And how big Pacquiao versus Mayweather got, and boxing started going, oh wow, there's a lot of money in making fights, and there's this notion in combat sports that if you take a loss, your career goes. And I kind of got shit for this after Mayweather not Mayweather, but McGregor lost to Diaz, and I go, it's not about wins and losses. Obviously, you don't want someone to have a ton of losses, but it's more about wars. All the great boxers
Yeah.
had losses, but they had wars. They
Yep.
had these amazing trilogies with these other fighters that define them, you know. And if McGregor can come back and fight Diaz and win, that becomes such a trilogy. That sure should happen, and it helped his legend grow. And so boxing learned that. So boxing now is thriving, and the UFC is struggling because I kind of talked about this before, that I feel there's a really subconscious thing going on here with the UFC and with the NFL, in that we are a nation of workers. We are 99% of us are employees of somebody. And we do not like getting shafted by our employer. And when we see workers, especially when there's a lot of money, getting shafted, and that the people can't even do the gig are making all the money, that's when we get, I think we get turned off subconsciously, and we stop wanting to watch.
100%.
And I think that's happened to the UFC, and I think that's happening to the NFL.
So true. Sam, thanks for calling in, man. I'll get you on longer next time. You're the man. Thank you so much.
Well, Darren Carter, I think you're a wonderful person. I love your comedy. I always enjoy working and having conversations with you. And I'm really happy that you're doing this. And I think with your hard work, your dedication, and your talent, good things are coming.
You're the man. Sam, have a great day, and we'll talk soon. Thank you.
Take care, homeboy.
Okay, buddy. Bye.
Call ended.
Dude, that was cool. Did you see that? Wow. Okay, now listen, the whole podcast is not going to be a phone call. The next one is going to be live. I'm sitting there with Gilbert Esquivel, and it gets deep, man. This guy is a former gangbanger who changed his life. He had an epiphany. He knew shit wasn't going to go right if he kept going down that road. We get into it. We're going to dive deep. And I want to thank you guys again for listening, for supporting, and for sharing what we're doing here. All right? Pocket Party. Darren Carter, party starter. All right. Love you guys. So what do? You hold the mic right there?
You hold it like this, but figure a thumb
Yeah.
away from the.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, the distance, you know what I mean?
That's good.
That's a safe. So like that, you hold your hands right here and you just do
Yeah.
this. Perfect.
I like that. It's funny because as a comic, you know, you think you know you have good mic technique, but when it came to podcasting, I noticed like even if I just pull the mic back like this far, which seems natural, but then when I listened to the one with John Reap, the guy was like right in here just like this. He's like, "Oh yeah, man, this is the alpha male. I'm the host and you're the co-host." And I'm like, "I like that. That's good."
Yeah, but if you get a good mic, good mics will pick
Yeah.
all that up. That's the difference between a Shure mic, which
Yeah.
is the most
That's
expensive
that's
one.
what these are. Sure,
and these
58s.
are fine. These pick up everything, bro.
So good.
These
This
are
is-
great mic. Dude, you know, you can go like this. This is all. But you're right. When you start moving away.
Yeah.
But, you're
Although I
safe,
found
man.
and I did a podcast with a guy who was a great radio host, and he kept when he would laugh, he would pull his face away. He'd go, ha, ha, ha. And I used to be like, why is he doing that? It sounds like I'm bombing. But when I listened back, it sounded better because when you laugh, you're gonna redline it into the mic. But
Yeah, you're not even supposed to breathe into the mic. When I used to do
Yeah.
radio, you had to turn around to cough. Anything you had to do because it was, boom, it would pick it up. If you cough into the mic
yes.
or if you clear your throat, no, you
If you're wondering who that voice is, ladies and gentlemen, that's right. It's Gilbert Esquivel. My guest today. You guys have heard him before on the podcast, and I just did not like the sound quality. So I said, you know what? Let me break out my recorder, my microphones, and let's do it. Because we've heard Gilbert, and Gilbert people said they loved the conversation, but a few people were like, I couldn't hear you guys good. One guy was soft, one guy was loud. I'm like, we're going to solve that today.
Those people are just picky, man. I'm serious. We get people
I know.
on my
Yeah.
show. We get
Yeah.
people all the time. Hold on. Let me practice what I preach. Hold on.
God bless you.
I had to sneeze. See that?
Yeah.
Professional, eh?
That's right.
Too much information. It's going to get ugly.
yeah. It's going to be ugly.
Tell them that story, bro. So
Yeah.
they're like, they have no reference to what I
know.
just said.
So I just did Gilbert's show. Tell him. By the way, you guys are listening, of course, to the Pocket Party podcast. You want to do me a huge favor, please. The more reviews and stars I get on iTunes, that's how I get on the charts. So it doesn't cost you guys a dime. Literally, just go to iTunes. It'll take less than a minute. 5 stars. Hey, I love the Pocket Party podcast. Whatever you want to say. Great podcast. This is whatever you want to say. Hopefully positive. And it'll help boost my podcast up. So So please do that. And we're recording here live at my sponsor, the Thai Room in Burbank. Tell me you want the Darren Carter Friend Special, and they will hook it up. All right, so Gilbert, what is the show that we just did? He has so many shows.
It's called The Lunchbox. And I go around different places in L.A. that have great food or that someone claims has great food. And we go, try it out. We have lunch, and we talk boxing and UFC. So it's called The Lunchbox.
That's
and so you told me about this place. I go, well, let me go see what it's all about. I came out here, and I ordered their vegetable chow mein. Oh, my goodness. It was the bomb. It was so tasty, and it had a sweet taste to it.
Yeah.
And then the hot sauce I put on it wasn't too hot. It was just tasty.
They were Johnny on the spot. You go, can I get some? Oh, yeah, we'll be right back. Boom, they got you right there.
They treat you like a king.
They do.
Isn't
Isn't this cool? We have our own room here. We literally have our own room, this little side room here at the Thai Room.
I feel like I got kicked out of my wife. My wife kicked me out. I had to go live back with Mom. And all she had left was a storage room. No, it's cool. It's like it's a cool little room. They just turned it into more space.
Yeah. It's green. It has like Thai statues and decorations. And
now, this is a real green room.
It's literally a green room. There's an air conditioner if we need to turn the AC on.
It's iguana green?
Iguana green, yeah. We were on the patio doing our thing earlier, and, that's Burbank. Two beautiful models walked in, and they were like, I don't know if they're on camera or not, but when we did your show.
They weren't.
They were in the background, and I'm like, man, that's just extras.
One walked by on camera, but I said on the sidewalk, but she came behind the camera.
Oh.
But, yeah.
It's funny because I don't notice that until I have a friend that comes from out of town. We'll be having coffee somewhere, and he's like, man, there are so many beautiful women. And I'm like, yeah, they're probably in between auditions. They're probably like, let me grab a quick, bite to eat or a drink or something. And then,
I would never want to hook up with an actress. A little aspiring actress especially. Never, ever, ever, ever. Let me tell you why.
Yeah.
And if you're an actress out here, if you don't admit this, then you're lying to yourself. You're not lying to me. You're lying to yourself. Because I'm speaking as myself.
It's going to get ugly.
It's going to get ugly. No, because actors are the same way. The guys are the same way.
Yeah.
So I'm speaking as an actor. See, a lot of these girls, they're little starlets. All their life, they've been told how beautiful they are. Or they're either the queen at school or the hot chick at class or whatever.
Yes.
Or for whatever reason, they love the attention. And they want more and more and more. So they want to be famous. So they can get the adoration and of the people. And they want the riches as well, okay? Who doesn't want it? But what you don't understand, when a woman is chasing that, everything is secondary. Her kids, her husband, everything. She will put it all, kick it to the curb for a part in a movie. If you don't believe that, go to CNN and rewind and watch the Harvey Weinstein stories. Because I guarantee you, he is guilty of that stuff. But I can almost promise you it's because it was so easy for him. And that's why Mike Tyson got in trouble. If you remember, Mike Tyson used to be so used to hearing yeses that the no's no longer mattered. And that's the same thing with this big shot producer. A lot of those women did what they did because they were trying to get in his good graces.
Yep.
Right? Now, not all of them. I'm just saying, because I guarantee you he did that. He's guilty of a lot of that stuff he did. But I promise you, a lot of that stuff, some of these women are just jumping on the money bandwagon. That's all that is.
Yeah.
And I know not all women are like that. They're not. I'm talking about these little starlets that are chasing that bright lights, big city thing.
Yeah.
Blinded by the lights. You ever heard that Jimmy Reed song, Bright Lights, Big City?
Yeah.
Gone to my baby's head. Oh, yes. It happens even to the men. Sylvester Stallone.
Absolutely. Oh, I was out on the golf course with Harvey Weinstein. I'm not going to get into detail, but let's just say there was more than 18 holes played that day.
What the hell? That was weird.
Hey, it's close enough. Yo.
I don't know what you're about to say.
It was actually too fast for him. He's usually slower. Did you know he did that? You know how he did that?
How he did what?
He changed his diet.
How he did what? Got all ripped
When he
that?
did Rocky,
Love Rocky.
he had to dumb himself up. He said, I had to slow my brain down, so I ate a lot of meat.
Oh.
A lot of meat, because meat takes a lot of energy to digest, and so it pulls from your brain. So if you want brain food, you got fish and vegetables, and
blueberries. Blueberries are brain food. Everybody knows that.
Well, he ate dumb to play Rocky, and then when he played Oscar, remember the movie Oscar that flopped?
Yes.
he ate brain food. He ate a lot of fish and a lot of
Wow.
vegetables because he had to be more intelligent.
Wow.
Yeah, I read that in his book.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And you had a vegetarian meal today. You must be really super smart right now.
No, it's not even that.
Yeah.
Lately, I have really, that's all I want to eat. I want to. I don't try to.
Yeah.
I got used to eating healthier little by little. That
Yep.
now
Yep.
I crave vegetables and fruits and
It's the best.
oatmeals and the things that are easy on your stomach.
Yeah. It's true because right now you have energy. Like sometimes when you have like a lot of pizza or a big meal, an hour later you just want to take a nap. It's like if you look at it like, when you put a bunch of heavy beach towels in a dishwasher, in the washing machine or the dryer, it's like boom, 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 or some heavy shoes, boom, boom. But imagine you took little dainty little washcloths, and that's what like vegetables is and fruit. It's easy for the machine to work. That's what your stomach is like right now.
Oh.
When you eat something really light, it gives you energy, but then you keep moving. Like when I eat really light, small meals throughout the day, I have tons of energy. Yesterday, I got to be honest, it's Father's Day. I had pizza, a lot of pizza.
Mhm.
And then, so when I woke up, even though I went to the gym and worked out, I came back and I was like, well, there's those 4 pieces left. So I had a salad and the pieces. And next thing you know, I'm on the couch. I'm taking a nap. I had my son sing some songs to me, and he was hilarious because he's 10 and he's playing the piano. He's like, "Rock-a-bye, Daddy." Yeah. And then he starts
Wow.
using the evil voice, "Daddy, rock-a-bye." Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
A little Austin?
Little Austin.
I got to meet him, man.
He does his voices. Oh, he's so cool.
I've got to meet him. He looks. I thought he was cool years ago
Yeah,
when you put
yeah.
a little video. I go, he is so
Yeah,
cool
you did
already.
say that. I know.
I go, he is cool already.
By the way, he listens to those. He listens to my podcast. I didn't even ask him to, but he's been. Yeah, he is hilarious, dude.
Really?
Yes, because you know what? They went up. Okay, it was beautiful. Like his cousins, they live in Glendale. Well, they went up to the farm. My wife grew up on a farm, so they went up to the farm near Fresno. And so it was my wife and sister-in-law and my son, the cousins, and big family together. But I had gigs to do, so I was here. They only went for like 3 or 4 days. But he's like, Dad, I listened to your podcast. I listened to episode 1, and now I'm on episode 2. So he knows you. He knows you.
Wow.
Yeah, you're on episode 2. And then later on, my wife goes, because she goes, I thought this was so sweet. She goes, I asked Austin, do you like listening to Daddy's podcast? He goes, yes, because it makes me feel like I'm on adventures with him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's cool, huh?
That is great. That is so cool. I mean, when your own children are into what you're into, that's
Yeah.
a special thing because
It
kids
is.
are not into what their parents are into.
Not all the time, I know. It's
You
like,
know, my kids sure ain't. No, my daughters don't
yeah.
think I'm funny.
real. Well, come on. Yeah,
No, I'm serious. My
really?
little one doesn't think I'm funny at all.
How old is the little one?
And she's a great. She's a baby still. She's
okay,
only
okay.
23.
Oh yeah.
She don't know any yet. She don't know any better.
Well, yeah,
No,
I wonder if
no.
it's the humor.
She's into that.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
she's into the young, those little, what's it, Aziz Ansari and
Oh yeah.
those
yeah.
Demetrius, those
Yeah,
little young
yeah.
guys, because they talk about stuff that those young
Right,
kids can
right.
relate. I talk about old cholo stuff, getting
Yeah.
high on Sherm and PCP. That's all I got to talk about when I was a kid.
I know. Thank God your daughter's unrelated. Can't relate to that.
I know,
Imagine if she was like, "That's right, Dad. Tie me off so I can do some heroin."
Oh,
or-
you need to check this out. When they were in elementary,
yeah,
one time we were talking and I said something about the male part.
yeah,
And they're like, "Oh, Dad, stop, Dad." They got all like weirded out.
yeah.
And I said, "Oh, knock it off. You've heard worse than that." And they go, "No, we haven't." I go, "Okay, I'm going to give you guys a hall pass." So that pretty much,
Yeah.
you can say anything you want.
Yeah.
Any word you want to describe the man's part.
Yeah.
And you won't get in trouble. And they started giggling. "Really, Dad?" I go, "Yes." Dude, they started saying names that they call it now that I had no idea they called it. And I was like, "What? They call it that?" And they go, "Yeah." I go, "See, you guys know more about this than I do. Stop acting innocent."
I think that like nowadays, it's funny when he first learned to curse words. Like he was looking. He loves music. He plays piano and he sings. And he would look up like even back in the day, like he would. Look on iTunes, like names of songs, and do his little research, like where is it at on the chart, who sings this song, and blah blah blah. And by the way, I remember one time he made a little joke. We go, "How was lunch today at school?" He goes, "It was great." That's how you know he listens to or is into music a lot. He's like, "I had a turkey sandwich featuring chips." Featuring Chips. It was hilarious.
Featuring Chips.
Yeah,
Listen to
it
the
lasted
lingo.
3 minutes and 12 seconds. But he used to watch iTunes. He would look at iTunes, and one day he was playing video games, and I know he learned this from iTunes, like learning the clean version. You know how they have the clean version of the songs.
Okay.
He got frustrated and he goes, what the F * K? And my wife and I were like,
That is hilarious.
because he only read it. He had, what the F * K.
Oh, that's
My buddy Sam
hilarious.
Tripoli, he's only read Sam Tripoli's name online, so he called him Sam Tripoli.
That would be a great name for a song.
What's
What
that?
the F * K? Because it's acceptable.
Yeah.
And people know exactly what you're doing. What? And just put a beat to that.
Here, I'll do it. Let's see what you can come up with. Here we go. You want a slow, fast, or medium?
However, whatever you do, I got to be able to do it. What the F * K? What the F * K? That is what they don't want me to say. Something like that. Anyway, well, let's do it all day. Here we go. Hey, boom, boom, boom. What's the boom? What the F * K?
Biatch.
I guess you could mess with that.
Throw the Snoop Dogg. Wow, yeah. What the F * K? Yeah. That was pretty good.
What the F * K? Well, imagine having a bunch of people to be,
yeah.
what the F * K? What the F * K? And all you do is rap about things you're going through.
K.
I came home late. My girl wasn't there. At first I thought I didn't care, but then I found her underwear on my bed, and under there was a dude's pair of shorts I didn't know where.
K.
What the F * K?
Dark K.
We might have a hit now.
You know what though? I messed up on that first take. If they listen close, it was supposed to go what the F * K, and I ended up saying what the K.
With the KKK.
Like,
Hey, there you go. What the F with the KKK?
What the? People are like, why won't this record sell?
And why is it only? What do they sell? Okay, you can buy the new CD and their new at Kmart and their white special, the white linen special.
Yeah.
Oh my
Dude,
god!
so how many children do you have?
I have two. I have twins, and one of them's mine. Just one. The other one, I don't know who the daddy
See,
is.
I did not have my meat, so I got that joke. If you have too much meat, you're like, have you ever told that joke and had the audience not really quite get it?
Every time. Nobody's ever getting that joke.
I
No,
have twins. One of them isn't mine.
no, one of them's mine.
Only one of them is mine. That's hilarious.
Oh man, I got a bunch.
Hey, you
of them.
glossed over something real quick. I don't know if you want to get into it on this podcast, but you said something about Sherm and what was the other thing about your younger life or something?
Well, back
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
days, they always had these different drugs that would
Right.
always be there's so many drugs that are like obsolete now.
Yeah,
Ain't
yeah.
that something? Drugs are like fads; they come and go. But
Yeah.
back in the days, I guess nowadays the modern drug is meth,
Yeah.
right? Well, back then it was PCP.
Angel dust and all that stuff.
Yeah, well,
right?
angel dust. What it was is PCP was a juice that a combination of elephant tranquilizer and embalming fluid.
Wow.
And they would mix them together and they would create this concoction that would make you feel a certain high.
Wow.
And it was really big back in the day, and a lot of people lost their minds behind it.
How do they even get embalming fluid? Where do you buy that from?
I have no idea. And they mix
Yeah.
other stuff into it. But
I want to ask you.
and they do that, they spray it
Right.
on mint leaves
Yeah.
and they crush them up. And
Wow.
then they spray, and then they roll it up. That's called angel dust. When they spray
heard
it
of
on
that,
mint,
yeah.
when they spray it on crushed mint leaves, it's called angel dust. But when the other one's called Sherm or Super Cool. So what they do is they get a
Wow.
Sherman cigarette, which is a brown cigarette,
Yeah.
or a Super Cool, or Cool cigarette,
Yeah.
and they dip it in the juice. And then they dip it back, and it goes all the way down. And now the
Wow.
whole cigarette is in chemical. And you let it dry, and you smoke it, and it just does something to your brain. It takes you, and next thing you know, you think you're this, and you're invincible, and you can fly, and all
Yeah,
kinds
because
of
a lot
weird
of times when
stuff.
the cops are trying to take a guy down, they go, he must be on PCP or angel
Superhuman
dust.
strength. It gives you.
Wow.
I got in a fight with a guy one time on PCP.
You were on PCP or he was?
He was.
He was.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
shit.
and at this time he was.
Yeah.
I wish I had been with him, but if I had been, we wouldn't have been fighting.
Ding, ding, ding. They're both on PCP. Only one. Yeah, one guy's on PCP.
And we got in a fight because he was high and I wasn't, and I got mad. No, I'm kidding.
And you're
No.
like, why'd you hog all the shit, man?
No, we got in a fight because he disrespected a girl that I was trying to get with.
Oh, Oh, what the F star K?
Yeah, that's what I said. What the F star K? I know you're hot, but I'm gonna beat you up anyway. But anyways, I thought I could, and he grabbed me by my ankles, and dude, he squeezed it. I couldn't. I'm like, whoa, this dude. I couldn't get my ankles out of his grasp, man.
Wow. And you were like trying to kick and move around.
And I couldn't kick him, but anyway, he was very strong. But yeah, you get this supernatural strength. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Tell us about Gilbert Esquivel. No, we know you've done so many things with your life now. You're super positive, man. You're doing like this daily show on Facebook, and 50, 60,000 people are watching it. And that, who knows who's going to go, how many views you're going to get as people go back and look a month from now, 2 months, 6 months.
Oh, I know,
you
man.
Know? It's great. You're really connecting with the people, man.
Yeah.
And right now, as you hear this podcast, tell us the time that you do it. You start.
Well, I do nightly from 9 p.m. till 11 p.m.
Okay.
Sunday through Friday. I take Saturdays off.
That's incredible. 6 nights a week.
But it's relaxing to me. People say, why do you work? I go, no, this is my relaxation.
It looks fun.
What I do is I drink coffee at night with people who can't sleep.
Yeah.
And a lot of those people that can't sleep are not, they can't sleep for various reasons. Some are in pain physically. Some are in pain emotionally.
Yeah.
Some of them had their spouses leave them. Some of them lost a loved one recently, died. And you got some people that are caretakers who don't leave the room because they're there taking care of someone who's sick.
Yeah.
So what I do is I spend time with them. I used to drink coffee. I have coffee with them at night, and we just talk. And I play music for them.
Yeah.
And I sing along, and I dance for them. And people love the way I dance because I grew up dancing.
Right.
I'm a good dancer. I love it. And I don't even call it dance. I call it boogie.
Yeah.
I say gangsters don't dance. We boogie. You know what I mean?
How did you come to this life that you're now? Like you've done comedy at churches and prisons and but you still have your foot in the door. Like you've taken me some gigs like Victory Outreach and these kind of shows where I'm like, wow, these guys look like they're like former gangbangers and stuff. Like how did you cross from? Did you have like? Well,
let me take you back all the way. Let me give you the Bible.
In
the beginning. You know, back in the day, my mom and dad, they hooked up on one of those, little flings, and she got pregnant. So being that he was a migrant worker from Texas passing through, I was born in Idaho. They were working in the field. So my mom had to go back to Texas. We lived with them, and he treated her like a little sex slave pretty much, beating her, just slapping her around. They didn't really, but that's the way it was.
Yeah.
He didn't know any better. He was 16 years old. What is he supposed to do? So anyways, so it was abusive, one of those kind of things where he would just beat her and get her pregnant and beat her, and he would have women like nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But she didn't know she was pregnant. That's all she knew, and this is her man, and she's living with his mom and dad, and that's all. So she ended up having like 5 kids from him. He was a heroin addict, ended up getting murdered by the age when I was 9 years old. I didn't know him very well. I mean, I knew him, but I wasn't real close to him, so it didn't affect me had he been real close to me. So it still affected me. So anyways, ended up, I was raised by a single mother who was still growing up herself.
In Texas?
No, we lived all over Michigan, Florida. We were migrant workers. Yeah. So we started traveling the country, working in the fields, picking crops and fruits and vegetables, all that. So we did all that. We were the field workers, those migrant workers. So we traveled all over the country. I have brothers born in Florida, Michigan. We were a sister born in Northern California, Southern California.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, my brother Rudy was born in McAllen, Texas. I was born in Idaho.
Wow.
And then So and then
were you the first one born? Or?
I was the first one born. I was the oldest. So I was basically.
Thank God they stayed together in a sense that you have siblings.
Well, that's what my mom made sure we did that.
That's great.
And I became the father of the family. So pretty much I was the dad. Yeah. And anyway, so, my mom was growing and she's learning, making major mistakes. Mm-hmm. And we're not suffering, but paying those consequences. Yeah. So it affected me. It messed me up. Okay. So I ended up getting involved in gangs when we moved to L.A.
Yeah.
Ended up getting involved in gangs.
Where'd you live in L.A.?
Oh, Pacoima. And
yeah.
so, being that it was a scary place, I needed to affiliate myself with someone because I had nobody to back me up, and people would mess with you, and you could beat them up. Yeah. 'Cause I used to love to fight, but over here, I noticed that in Michigan, you would fight; it was one-on-one.
Yeah.
Over here, it wasn't one-on-one. You fought somebody, you had to fight all his friends at the same time. They'd jump you. So I wasn't used to that. So I ended up having to get my own group of friends. What happened to be a gang. And I went down
With
in
an already existing gang.
an already existing gang, and
Yeah.
this gang was a pretty they were a pretty bad gang, but not everybody in the gang is, but only a certain percentage of them. They call them the 1%ers. Those are the ones that do the most damage. Those are the ones that cause the chaos and the blood and the gore.
Yeah.
See, and so those guys would became my crime partners, and those are my friends. So even though I wasn't a 1%er, and I'm only using that term because that's what the bike clubs use. The bike gangs use that.
Yeah.
Because the bike gangs are usually pretty good guys. They're all pretty good guys,
Yeah.
but they got that 1% that does all the enforcing and all
Yeah.
that. They give the gang the name. You know what I mean?
That's an old quote. Yeah, about the bikers.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just using that terminology
Right.
in this street because we don't have
Yeah.
that terminology. Well, we didn't have that
Yeah.
terminology in street
Yeah.
gang, but just so people can understand how it was. Same thing there though. Most of the people in the gangs, they're just there for protection and for but those ones that are serious about the gang, they're the ones that go shooting, killing people, and and doing robberies and crimes and really hurt. Those are the ones. Well, those are the guys that I hung out with. And
The
although
really bad guys.
There was
or
two
the
crews.
regular bad guys.
They're really bad guys.
Oh shit.
So there was two different crews. The first crew was the older guys. They were the older guys, and the other crew was the guys my age. Well, the two other older guys, both of them are dead. One was killed robbing an off-duty cop, and the other one was assassinated in his home.
Wow.
The other two, in 1979, at the age of 16, they pretty much they went on their own. It used to be us three, but I was a fugitive and I had to leave the state. Well, when I left the state, I went back to Idaho. But when I left, these guys went out and did a robbery themselves, and everything went wrong. Ended up somebody lost their life. They got life without the possibility of parole. They were tried as adults. Governor George Duke Majan passed a new law that youth will now be tried as adults for capital offenses, and this was a capital offense.
Yeah.
So they got life without the possibility of ever getting out. So meanwhile, in Idaho, I was over there and I was doing my same. I was committing crimes over there. Finally, one day, because that's where I was born. I told you my mom and dad met in this little town, and that's where I was conceived, and that's where I was born. Well, my mom told me we were at a corner where the post office is, and my mom said, your dad used to stand right there in that corner with his hands in his pocket and headband on and his T-shirt, all pachuco.
Yeah, Pachuco style, right?
Yeah, and leaning back and checking out the cars. And I go, oh, okay. Well, one night I was going to the bars because there's like 6 bars in this little tiny town. They're all next to each other. So I had to cross the street and there was traffic. So I waited for the traffic. And I had my headband on and my T-shirt and my baggy, pants.
This is back in the 70s or
This
early
was
80s?
1979. I'm sorry, 1979.
Yeah.
Summer of 1979. So I have my hands in my pockets and I'm leaning back, checking out the cars, I'm waiting for the cars to hurry up and leave so I can cross the street.
Yeah.
And this voice told me, it was a loud thought, so
Yeah.
loud that it sounded like a voice.
Yeah.
When I say a voice told me, it's a loud thought.
It's a loud thought.
Yeah, so it said, look at you. Look where you're standing. And I turned around and I was right in front of that post office on the same corner that my mom told me my dad used to stand at. And he goes, you're standing in the same place your dad stood, and you are walking in the same footsteps that he did. And if you don't straighten out your life, you're going to end up just like him. And that scared the daylights out of me because my dad was murdered at the age when I was 9 years old.
Wow.
And they never found his killers. And some little boy at recess told me, because I took the article when they found my dad's body to school for show and tell, and I read it for show and tell. So the little boy asked me, how old was your dad when he died? And I said, 25. And he says, that's how old you're going to be when you die. And I believed it. And I lived my whole, all the way up till I turned 26.
Yeah.
I always wondered if that always bugged me and bothered me. So here I was on this corner and I heard that voice. And so I just looked up and I just raised my hands. I was like, well, then I need your help. That's all I could say. I didn't know why I looked up.
Yeah.
I just looked up and I go, well, then I need your help because I can't do this. I can't straighten out because I'm a criminal, man.
Yeah.
Hardcore criminal. You know what I mean?
How old were you at that time?
I was, now I had just turned 17.
Oh, shit.
And I was ready to turn 18.
Oh,
and and that was part of it. See, because when I used to get in trouble as a juvenile, I would get a slap on the wrist.
Yep.
So now if I were to commit the same crimes I did as a juvenile, I'm going to get 5 years and up.
Yeah.
So when I came back, my friends had already gotten arrested for what they did. I got back in school. I got into an acting class because I promised everybody in Idaho, because I was taking a cashier's class, and I told them, because the teacher was one of these positive L. Ron Hubbard
Yeah.
power of the mind and Scientology. She
Yeah.
was all into that.
Oh.
So she started teaching me about the power of the mind and how I could set goals and go for it. Don't let nobody tell you no. And
Right.
so she motivated me to be in, because I always wanted to be an actor. That was my dream.
Yeah.
And I put it on pause because I was gangbanging was funner. And so now I can act like a gangbanger if I want. So anyway,
Yeah.
I promised everybody there, I said, okay, I'm going to be an actor. I'm going to go after my dream. I'm going to be an actor. When I get back to L.A., I'm going to straighten out. And I promise you guys, I'll never come back to Idaho until I made it as an actor. I told him that. So I come back to L.A., I get into acting school. I go back to school. I start dressing different. I didn't get arrested for a while until I finally did. But by the time they arrested me, I was now 18. And I was doing good for 18 months.
Yeah.
I didn't get arrested. So being that it was a juvenile warrant for all my juvenile crimes, I was facing 3 years. So when I had to go to juvenile court, I was a grown man going to juvenile court. So anyway, so I get to court. I'm ready to go do 3 years. And then the judge said, all right, Mr. Esquivel, I'm looking at your stuff here. He goes, I see you haven't been arrested in 18 months and a year and a half. He goes, that's pretty good. He goes, and I also see you're back in school again. I go, yes, sir. He goes, and I see here you're in acting school. I go, yeah. He goes, what's that about? I go, well, I've always wanted to be an actor, so I decided I'm just going to go for it. And he stops and he looks and he's like thinking. He goes, I'll tell you what, let's make a deal. And he goes, if I let you go, do you promise me if you ever make it as an actor, you'll come back and give me your autograph? I'm like, yes. He hit the gavel. He goes, case dismissed. He goes, I'll see you. Or something. He said something else.
Yeah.
And he let me go, man. And I was like, wow. And I've never seen him
Yeah.
again, so I don't even
Yeah.
know if he's alive or anything. So
You know what's funny is who knows what he was thinking, but as an adult looking at that perspective, he probably saw that it's like when a tree grows crooked. He saw you were going one way, and then something happened where now the tree's growing another way,
Yeah.
and we're gonna like.
I don't think he
Straight-
wanted to disturb that.
Yeah. He's like, okay, he's trying to go to acting class. He's trying to do something other than he saw that you saw there was light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
If I follow this, and because the odds are of making it as an actor, who knows? But it's like he knew that you were putting one step in front of the other, and you were making a change in your life.
Well, the 18 months, I was
No.
gone. Remember, I was gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when I came back, I dressed so different that because I knew how the cops were, they would mess with us. So I
Yeah.
opened my shirts because I used to button them up to my neck,
Right.
like the
That's
cholo, and I
style,
would
yeah.
open them
The
up.
bottom, the
Yeah, and I would
panel
wear
tips,
zoot suit pants that were real baggy. So, and they were real sharp. They had the double pleats and everything. Well, I decided to tuck my shirt in, and I opened the two buttons on top. And right back then, that was 1980.
Yeah.
Disco was hitting.
Oh.
So now I was instantly disco. So when the cops would see me with my friends, they wouldn't bother me. They would get
Yeah.
them, but they would leave me alone because I was disco. And so
Yeah.
my friends would laugh at me. They would call me Disco K.I. That was my new nickname. So I had to prove myself all
Disco
over again.
K.I.?
Yeah, K.I. They used to call me K.I. K.I. That
Yeah.
was my nickname. So, but what happened was, though, that now I'm walking around the projects
Yeah.
and I'm in the streets.
Real quick, do you have a tattoo that says K.I.K.I.?
No, it says Gilbert.
Because I've seen K.I.K.I. somewhere. Or maybe
Yeah,
not. Maybe-
K.I. No, there's Kiki.
Oh, maybe I saw that.
Kiki. There's Kiki.
Yeah.
Well, they call me K.I., which
Oh.
was K.I.K.I. They call me K.I. The two letters, K.I. So,
Aren't you, real quick, aren't you? Don't forget that thought. Hold that thought, whatever that was going to be. But aren't you glad that we don't still have those nicknames that we had growing up? Like,
oh, they still call me that.
I mean, I'll speak for myself. When I was going to be a rapper back in the 80s, when I was growing up, I was going to call myself, because I had a bunch of red hair, I was going to call myself the Carrot Top Kid. And it was KTK. I'm the Carrot Top Kid.
Oh.
And then, luckily, I dropped it because when I got into comedy, there's already a Carrot Top.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, and besides
Yeah,
that,
but even
yeah.
then, if one of your close old friends, well, they would call you that, you wouldn't.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah, yeah.
That's all. The only people that call me that are my old friends.
But I'm not saying it like for a stage name. I'm not, I would,
Oh no, no.
that would be like a
wouldn't.
shaved baby carrot or something.
Yeah, no,
So yeah, they called you KI, and then you were about to tell a story.
what was I saying? You told me to hold that thought.
Damn it! What was that thought you were holding?
I was holding it.
Hey, I got twins. Only one of them's mine.
No, but anyways, as I started, after the judge told me that, then I started getting into comedy. No. What happened? I started. I just.
It must have been something internal though that said, okay, I need to like that. You had that thought when you're in that street corner in Idaho.
Yeah.
I need to change my ways. I need to stay.
Well, when I got back,
it doesn't happen overnight because, like you said, you still kind of hung out with some of the friends, but then something happened though internally. I think where you said, I don't want to be that person. I want to follow this path?
Yeah, well, let me tell you what happened. I already knew I wanted to straighten out, right? But before that, when I was,
Yeah.
I always say this. When I was 16 years old, there was this little girl that I liked a lot, and her mom and dad were all her mom and sisters were all religious. So one time they invited me to church with them, and I'm like, nah. But then the little girl was going, and I liked her, so I went with them. And then this preacher said something over there, and I really liked it. And you know how they invite you to come forward? I did. I went forward, and he was just basically praying for me that for me to, that I would give my life over to God, and God would do something with it. So I go, all right, because I was a fugitive already. I was a fugitive twice by the time I was 16 years old. So this time, this was the
scary
first
was that
time.
being a fugitive? Or did you-
It's very scary, very lonely because I couldn't go home. So I was in that state of mind, like, wow, well, I can't go home. I already messed my life up, so why not? It don't hurt.
Yeah.
Well, that night, I believe that started from that night. I don't know. I'm just trying to pinpoint where, because from then on, that's when I started just meeting different people and having dreams and all these different things and fears and all these different, all that. But anyways, I remember all these people used to come to preach to me. They used to talk, that's Bible thumpers. Yeah. And I would argue with them about the Bible. Well, then one time, because they couldn't answer my questions, and then one time I ran into one of them, and he was putting gas in, and we was making chit chat, and I said, hey, the gas is expensive now, huh? $1.50 a gallon. That's crazy. I guess you guys are right. This world is coming to an end. And he told me something. He goes, let the world come to an end. I don't care. He said, let gas go up. I could care less. He goes, I have Jesus. And when he said that, I don't know what happened. It was like I just saw a fearlessness in him that I'd never had. And here I am, a gangbanger. Well, I was. Yeah. But still, I was supposed to be and I didn't have that type of confidence and boldness, they call it. I said to myself inside, I go, I want that. So I told him, I go, hey, man, when are you going to pick me up? I want to go to your church. Check it out. He goes, man, so I gave him my number. He was at my house before I was. I started going to church with him 3 nights a week.
That's cool.
I couldn't get out of the Bible. I had my head buried in the Bible, and I didn't understand it all, but it helped me a lot.
He's like, one caveat. You're like, what's that? He goes, you got gas money?
Yeah, that's funny.
I don't care about gas prices.
I don't, but yeah, that would have been
just
fun.
joking,
No, that's funny. I think I'm going to use that. When I
use
tell that
it.
story, I'm
tell
going to
that
use
story.
that.
He goes, and one caveat to this. I'm like, what's that? Or what,
What's caviar, eh?
I'll take you to church, but you got to pay me some gas money.
He's like, one caviar. I don't like caviar. It's too salty.
I'm a fugitive.
Eh? So anyway, little by little, like I said, I just went through this new I got a new perspective. Now, my new perspective was I don't want to steal from people. I want to help people now. I flip flop. I want to give. I don't want to take no more. So I started doing that, and what happened was what had happened. Oh, when I came back in '79, I was like in '80. I was like, what can I do that's legal? Well, what am I good at? And I was good at selling because I used to sell my stolen goods in the bars at 2 or 3 in the morning, or 1 in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning before they closed. Yeah. So I was a good salesman. So I said, okay, now I just need something legitimate to sell. So I started selling on TV and subscription television. Remember? The HBO and all that? Yeah. Before all this, it was subscription television. We're the ones that started all that. We were the sales force. We were so good that we literally, on my first day at that company, I set a company record for the most sales in one day.
Nice.
My first day on the job. So anyway, we ended up, they closed them down because they couldn't keep up with our orders. But anyway, I started doing that. I got into sales, became a salesman, and then I ended up. I always wanted to do comedy, but I never knew how to get into it. I always wanted to do it, and then being that I had decided I was going to pursue acting again, and some of my friend told me at Levitt's Furniture when I was there, and his friend was Ray Combs, who was the host of Family Feud.
Yep.
Ray Combs used to work there at Levitt's as a salesman, and he got into doing stand-up comedy, but he was a comedian in Ohio, comes out here to pursue his comedy career, gets into doing warm-ups, studio audience warm-ups, became the king of the warm-ups, and and his best friend that he came out here with was still working at Levitt, so he schooled me about pursuing stand-up comedy and going, because agents go to comics nowadays, or people, they look at comedians. Yeah. Comedians don't have to go through the same route. They take shortcuts. So I go, let me do that. I took comedy, And sure enough, I got into warm-ups. I work in warm-up. And then as I started pursuing acting, I realized that comedy was a lot funner and a lot more me.
Yeah.
So that's where I ended
It's
up
true.
staying in comedy.
I like acting for the exposure, and it's kind of cool that you have something that people can, watch decades down the road. But it's not, as far as gratifying the artist inside of us, it's not the same. When you write something, when you perform something, when you do something like that, it's the best.
Yeah, no, it's no, definitely, buddy. It's
Well, we'll wrap up this interview, and I want to say thank you. You're welcome anytime. And once again, where can we see you?
where am I gonna be at here? Well,
Or just tell us where to find you on the internet.
yeah. Go on my Facebook. Basically, right now is Gilbert Esquivel.
Yeah.
Or my Instagram is Gilbert.Esquivel. ESQUIV.
Same thing for YouTube, right? Gilbert.Esquivel.
Well, my YouTube channel is Comedian Gilbert's World. Not Gilbert. You got to put the S in it. Comedian Gilbert's World.
Yeah.
And that's my channel. If you go on there, you can see a bunch of little stories I put and my new little stories I'm doing from the cage to the stage, where I'm interviewing ex-cons who are either comedians now or actors or singers, or they're graduating from the stage, graduation stage, or they're evangelists and preachers. Anybody who went from the cage, prison, to the stage, I'm doing their life stories. And so I got I've got 3 stories already, and I got some more lined up. So yeah, but anyways, you can go there and catch me there.
That's really cool. Where do you get guests? Do you just wait till they get released from prison? You
No, I
stand
got there's plenty of them.
Can you imagine you stand by the exit? Hey, quick, do my podcast.
I'm right here outside LA County Jail waiting for Julio Sanchez to be released after doing 38 years in solitary confinement.
He was in a cage. Now
Julio, now that you got out, are you or are you not going to Disneyland?
come on down.
Hey, no, Julio, what are you going to do? Because I'm robbing Disneyland.
It's a small world in this cage. You guys are great, man. Thanks for listening to the Pocket Party Podcast. Once again, please, a huge favor, go to YouTube, like, subscribe, share, go to iTunes, and 5 stars and a review. All that stuff is free, and let's just build our family here, our Pocket Party family. The
And
party
who's your
continues.
sponsor, man?
And the sponsor here is the Thai Room, beautiful downtown Burbank on Hollywood Way, 821 North Hollywood Way. Tell them you want the Darren Carter Friends Special. Tell them how good the food is, Gilbert.
Oh my God! If you don't want that, that was awesome. But if you don't want that, get the vegetable chow mein.
Vegetable chow mein.
Oh.
I got the drunken noodles.
It's to live for.
You got the sober noodles.
It's to live for.
It is to live for.
That's how healthy it is.
Yeah, hell yeah. Get some brain food.
That's why
Next
I tell
time-
people. Hey, I tell
Yeah.
people because I'm a diabetic.
Yeah.
So I tell people I'm not a diabetic. I'm a live-a-betic.
I like that. And
I got my sugar down, the normal levels. I did it.
Nice.
Exercise, prayer, exercise, and eating in moderation. I got my sugar levels down without metformin, without insulin, none of
Yeah.
that.
Do you have any last words of advice or motivation? Something that people can carry on. You're really good at that. Like, is there something where, like, let's say someone's listening to this podcast and they're feeling down, they're feeling the blues.
Yes.
They're like, how can I change my life?
Guys,
Okay.
it's okay to be mad. It's okay to get mad. It's okay to argue. You can argue with your best friend. You can argue with your coworker. It doesn't matter. It's okay. Just don't stay mad. Don't stay mad. That's the worst thing you can do. Don't hold no grudges.
Yep.
Don't ever let your perspective about somebody else change because of the way they are, because they're not living up to your standards. See, you can't do that because you got to understand you're not perfect either, and you're not living up to other people's standards. So why be mad at somebody else for being as guilty of the same thing you're guilty of? It's a waste of time and energy. You know what I mean? So forgive. Don't hold grudges. You just let it go. You don't have to forget. Nobody
Yeah.
said about, just let it go.
They say there's a quote, it says when you're holding a grudge, they're renting space in your mind and they're
Ooh.
not paying rent. They're in your brain
Wow.
and they're not paying rent.
Oh, I
You're
love
thinking
that.
about them, they're probably not even thinking about you.
They're not. My
Yeah.
wife always says that. She
Yeah.
goes, if you got a problem with me, that's your problem. Yes, yeah. I ain't. He goes, you know what I mean? It's not my problem. That's your problem. You're the one that's got to live with that and deal with that. She goes, because don't worry about what other people think about you, because you're worried about them. They don't even care. They're out like what you just said.
Yeah.
They're doing their thing.
Doing their thing.
I know.
All right, you guys, Pocket Party Podcast. Thanks for the reviews. Thanks for sharing it. We love you guys, and I really appreciate us letting us start that party up in your ear holes today. Darren Carter, Gilbert Esquivel, we out. All right.
Doing it in your ear hole.
Dude, that was really fun, man. Thanks for coming by. That was good. Good shit, man.
Great.
All right.
I got to go pick up my mama.
Okay, buddy.
That was fun, man.
With the F star K.
That's fun.
Dude, Darren, that's it. I love it. All right, man. I'll walk you out.